Hello everyone, this is Peter Deswood III again, making this video from Farmington, New Mexico. Akunde she ICDN Ashai Lukachiga, Arizona. I'm originally from Lukachiga, Arizona. All of my relatives live out there. My Tachitni and Kitlachitni side are from Lukachigai, Round Rock, Tsaili. They grew up. My dad's family is from that area. My mom's family is also from out in Totso. Wait, my dad's side was from Totso, which is the south side of the river or the wash in Lukachigai. My mom's side is from the north side of the Totso wash. Yeah, so that's where I'm originally from. Had someone ask me where I was from on one of the questions. Hope you guys like these videos. Please subscribe below, like my videos, and share them. I'm doing this just to update people with data from the various sites that I follow. Again, this is just for informational purposes and to help the community. I'm an educator, and I think that's one thing that's important, is to educate our Native people and people in the community, the Four Corners community. That's the reason why I do these videos. So yesterday when I made the update number 3, the total confirmed cases was at 436,159. And that was yesterday. And then total deaths yesterday was 19,648. As of today, it's at 521,086. That's total confirmed cases today. And total deaths as of today is at 23,568. Okay. Now, if one thing that's important about this is whenever we look at the number of cases across the world, obviously China has the most cases at 81,782. Italy is in second. I hate to say it is in second, but they're at 80,589. Now, we are catching up really quickly to Italy and China, because right now we're at 79,785 cases. I mean, that gap is closing really quickly. I know I've shared some graphs about what it looks like as far as our growth in the United States, considering the measures we've taken. I think it was yesterday, the President of the United States was saying that hopefully everything was open by Easter. I'm not too sure if that's going to be the situation or the case. Hopefully it is. I'm pretty optimistic, but this is one that I'm not too optimistic about. I'm optimistic about staying inside and taking care of my family in the house, and taking care of what I have control over, at least. So whenever you look at those numbers, I do have some data that shows a little bit more local. Now this is something that's really interesting as well. Let me just pull this up just one sec. So if we look at New Mexico on this site, which is the site by Johns Hopkins University, and hang on one second, let me get out my little calculator here. Just bear with me. So in Arizona, and I shared this also on my social media pages, on here it says Arizona, Navajo County had 43, Apache County had 9, and let's see, Coconino County, it shows 28 so far. So those are areas that are surround the Navajo Nation. San Juan County, as of recently, has said 8, 1 in Durango, Colorado. And McKinley County showed, hang on one second, let me just pull this up really quick. McKinley County showed 3 still. So, okay, so those numbers are holding steady. Let's see, some other numbers that I wanted to talk about. I know everyone is talking about staying home, flattening the curve. The Navajo Nation, the most recent number I saw was 69, and that was put out by President Jonathan Nez. And since March 23rd, actually, let me go back a little bit further so you can see the drastic increase. So March 17th, 2, March 18th, 3, March 19th, 14, March 21, 26, March 23rd, 29, March 24th, 49, March 25th, 69. So President Nez and his staff put this graph out there as well. Since the 23rd to the 25th, there was a 40.8% increase in both of those days. Okay, so that's definitely a pretty gradual slope for a 40 point, basically 41%. That's those of you that do math, that slope is 41 to 100, the rise of 41, run of 10. So I know I geek out about math, but I used to teach math for quite a few years in middle school, so I kind of have to break that down for my students. So anyway, there's some really nice memes out there and infographics out there that people are putting out. Stay put, Dishne, that's pretty good. Stay inside, and Dishne, I'm saying. So there's a little bit of Navajo for you. Okay, so also whenever you look at the graph, I saw this one at MSNBC. Our trajectory, our increases of the coronavirus by cases is far outpacing any of the other countries. Okay, so that's something that we need to take a look at and be serious about. Okay, so keep that in mind as we look at this data. Now, some other important things that I wanted to show. I'll also include this graph. This is similar to the trajectory of the one that I showed earlier, but this one compares the United States to Italy. As of this day, on March 6th, when we compare it, our March 6th, and if we were to line up us and the United States the United States and Italy side by side, it would show the U.S. at 4,663, and Italy was at 4,636. So we're right in line with what we're seeing, what occurred in Italy. So keep that in mind as we look at this. Okay, I'll also include another graph where it shows mainland China, South Korea, Iran, Italy, the United States, and Spain, and those exponential growth curves, and then as they start to level out. Okay, so I'll definitely include that as well in this video. Okay, so just again, remember that those are the reasons why the President Nez and other governors are saying stay at home, because flattening that curve, I'm not too sure if y'all have all seen on social media, but social distancing is a way for us to prevent this from happening, or prevent the spread of the virus. Okay, so keep that in mind as we look, towards what towards preventing this from happening. Okay, or spreading. I know it's already happening, but we need to decrease that spread. Again, these numbers are absolutely astronomical. I do have some more data here. I did find another site. It was updated March 25th. It says COVID Tracking Project, Census Bureau. So in Arizona, it said confirmed cases 470, deaths 6, total people tested 846, and it says tests per million people is 116. Okay, I also have this for New Mexico as well, since the majority of natives or Navajos are not natives, but a majority of Navajos are in Arizona and New Mexico. So here it says New Mexico, confirmed cases 112, and this deaths at 1. People tested 7,793, and tested per million people 3,717. So as of yesterday, it looks like whenever I compare Arizona to New Mexico, it looks like New Mexico is a little bit behind the curve in testing people. Okay, so again, this is the data, but I'm not adding any commentary to this. This is just strictly what this is what the data is saying by some of the, like, the Census Bureau. Okay, so I'll also include this other graph, how the U.S. compares to other countries. So it says number of cases since day since the 100th day of the case, and this is a log scale. Okay, so again, U.S. will be in red, and you'll see that right about the same time, Italy is starting to kind of taper off or flatten out a little bit. And at this time, China has already flattened out by this time, but we're still continuing to increase. Sorry, my mom is calling in. I'll have to call her back. So, but anyway, take a look at that, and I'll put this graph in there as well. But it's really interesting to see these numbers and this data as we're going through these days. Okay, but again, stay at home. Remember, we gotta do our part for this, and to again remember, folks, we gotta wash our hands. You gotta cough into your sleeve, social distance. The basic precautions that school teachers always tell kids daily. Wash your hands with soap and water for 20 seconds. Remember to do those practices and make it a ritual. 20 seconds of washing hands. Trust me, I have a hard time doing that as well. I mean, I'm used to just doing it for 20, not even 20. I'd say 5 to 10 seconds, really quickly lathering the soap and then washing it. My wife has to catch me a couple times saying, "Hey, you know what? You need to wash about 15 seconds longer." So, okay, we're not. I guess we got to make sure we take care of that stuff. So someone just sent me a text message right here, and apparently the governor of New Mexico, Governor Lujan Grisham, is going to announce an extension of school closures amid the outbreak. And I just received this 3 minutes ago, and it's this is something that's going to be pretty important as we look at education into the future as well. Okay, and again, these are all precautions. This is to prevent it. I know New Mexico is only at 112, but the thing is, that's taking measures so that we don't get as high as California, New York, Louisiana. I mean, Louisiana is just, they're saying it's going to surpass New York City within a day or two. Okay, so I just heard that on the news, but when I was working in my kitchen. Okay, so remember, stay at home, social distance, take care of your families. Remember, if you are working from home, I work about an hour and a half, and then I get up and I go in the backyard and Marley and I shoot hoops, or we kick the soccer ball around, and just get some fresh air. Taking Henry on walks a couple times a day. Henry's my little dog, by the way. He's a little Chihuahua. So I take my little puppy around the block and make sure he's good. Another project I've been working on outside is getting my garden ready to plant corn. Marley and I plant corn yearly, and we make nishjiji and we sell it. We probably make about maybe 7 or 8 gallons of nishjiji, and we sell them in the fall. But that's kind of what my family were farmers. My dad's family were farmers, and we grew a lot of corn and alfalfa and pumpkins and squash and such like that. And that's something that I picked up from my dad, and I continue to do with my kids, is to grow and to farm and take care of ourselves with our food. In fact, we still have nishjiji left. Out of our gallon pickle jar, we have about maybe a quarter of a gallon left. So enough to get us through this COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, but if you have any questions, please leave comments below. If I missed something, I know someone commented yesterday about my comment about diabetes, and I I'm not perfect, and the way I look at things you might not agree with it as well, but if I offend you, I'm sorry. And I do try to get the data as close to fact as possible. My mom keeps calling, so if you heard the ring in again, she's calling me. It's probably about the extension of school closures. So my mom's concerned now. My mom's finally taking it serious, by the way. She's communicating to us to stay at home, but it took some time for me to get to that point. It took me a week and a half, but sometimes our elders are stubborn, and we have to really tell them to stay home. Last week, my grandma May from Lukachigai, she's a tkatli, she's a medicine woman. She does the beauty way ceremony and the hujonja bije, and then she also does the kinalda ceremony. Okay, those are the same ceremonies. But she was going to come over here to Farmington. We told my Aunt Shirley, stay home, keep grandma home, okay? Keep her home, keep her in the house, keep her safe. That's and then on my wife's side, my wife's grandma, she's my grandma's like I think 90 now, but my wife Carrie's grandma is 88, and she likes to go and play bingo, and they had to tell her, don't go play bingo, stay home, take care of yourself, take care of yourself, take care of yourself. And I made a post a couple days ago about reverence. This time right now, these 13 days that we've been staying at home, it reminds me of just getting done with a ceremony, and you have to be reverent for 4 days. They say, be holy, don't do anything, don't cut anything, don't do those things. This is what it reminds me of, okay? So as Navajo people and indigenous people, we've been trained to be reverent for 4 days, okay? I know I'm going on 13, but luckily we can walk outside. I can cut red meat, or I can dig the earth, right? So keep that in mind. This, if you're Navajo, this is the ceremonies and the traditional teachings should have given us discipline to get through this tough time, okay? But again, comment below, subscribe to my channel, hit the like button below on YouTube. I'm trying to transition to YouTube as opposed to Podbean. I pay, I think, $200 a year for my Podbean site. They have all my content on there, so I've been moving my content over to YouTube because YouTube is free, obviously. My channel is free, and so my number of views is going up on there. So follow my page. Excuse me. I've interviewed, I think, about 125 leaders from various different tribes in the United States, having them tell their story, share their experiences with leadership, how they've got to, exploring just leadership dynamics and hearing their stories. And I think one of the reasons why I did that was because I feel, my dad was an Natani for the Navajo Nation, and I wasn't able to capture his teachings and capture his thoughts and in the teachings that he talked about. I mean, I know them in my head and my heart, but the thing is, I wasn't. My daughters weren't, and my nieces and nephews weren't able to hear my dad's Benantian, his teachings, his philosophy about life, and the Navajo teachings that he grew up with. I know I talked about my grandma May. She's a medicine woman, but my dad's side as well. I do have medicine people on that side as well. I have my Aunt Ella who passed away, or a Nadza, that's how they say it in Navajo. She did the fire dance ceremony as well. So she did the long ceremonies, the 9-night ceremonies, okay? The 9-day, and then in the spring, I think she did the Natoi. I think that's what it was called, where they use the bluebird. But that's kind of where I come from, and as far as my Navajo and traditional teachings, okay? So a lot of my thought that I talk about is that those traditional funds of knowledge, right? And that's one thing that's nice about getting educated, is coupling my traditional thoughts and knowledge that I brought in with mainstream. Okay, so a lot of times I try to use those teachings and teach my students, whether they're non-native or Nakai or Hispanic. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But other than that, please like my page and subscribe and share the video. If you like it, share the video. If you want me to cover a different topic, just message below, and I'll talk about it. Okay. So thank you for listening here, Kenson. And I better call my mom back because she's called me 3 times and she always says, "You never answer your phone." And I say, "You never answer your phone too. You're always on that game, Candy Crush or color by number." She likes color by number, so she likes the color by number on there. Anyway, thank you all. Thank you for watching. Going at again. This is Peter Deswood from Farmington by way of Arizona. Yeah, have a good day.